fear as a teacher and looking at fear as a teacher and developing a relationship with fear as a positive force versus something to be disowned or pushed away has changed my approach to everything, to how I relate to people at work, how I relate to people in my day-to-day life, in intimate relationships and in friendships. And it's given me the ability to feel what fear is and know when it's coming up and use that as a red flag to take action versus something to shy away from.
For most of my life, I did everything out of fear. I used to not be able to go through the day without trying to figure out where I was going to park my car and how I was going to get into my house. So that's like a core fear, but then there was also like a fear of taking too much food from the world and a fear of, you know, not ever having enough to be able to support myself, and a fear that I was supposed to be a better child and I was supposed to be a better sister and I was supposed to be a better teacher, and all the decisions I made were from a place of like trying to prove something, and all that did was create more reasons to be scared.
As I found out as an adult that I was struggling with PTSD, not struggling, that I had PTSD, fear is such a huge part of that. It's a huge part of the psyche of your everyday, is being in fear and being on watch every day about everything that could possibly go wrong. And understanding that that fear was a teacher instead of like a punisher, or really more than anything that I've done something wrong and that's why I'm in this fearful place, has turned all that around. It's part of why I'm where I am today, with a real job and a real life and not living on the streets how I thought I might end up at one point.
The saying of like, usually what you fear the most holds the most power. Starting to not be so freaked out when I would get a fearful feeling and be more curious. And I think that was a huge growing place for me, to actually have curiosity around fear and not, negative judgment. And ask questions like, okay, if this is so much bothering me, why is it bothering me so much? What's on the other side of it that is actually interesting, exciting, I want to learn more about? And that allowed me a little bit more honesty with myself too, you know?
And what working with Staci, with you, has helped me do is to not so much embrace fear, but to accept the fear, to face what's happening, and to look at it in a more calm and relaxed fashion.
And as I started to find these places of trust, it's not like bad things stopped happening or that the world suddenly became a better place, but I started to be attracted to things that were more wholesome and healthy for me and for the world. And my whole world started to shift. So
fear has taught me that everyone else is just as afraid as I am of the unknown. That's a biggie. So I've learned a lot about compassion for myself and others in all of our quirky situations that we find ourselves in as humans.
So now I can look at fear and I can say, well, what part is there that I need to listen to, that's trying to guide me, that's trying to teach me something in my life? And what part of fear is there that's just kind of leftover stuff and it just doesn't make sense and it's somewhat irrational? And what part of that can I sort of let go of? And that to me is the true essence of what you always call navigating fear, because I feel like now, with whatever comes up when I feel triggered or I feel fear, now I feel like I have a choice in how I react and a choice in how I think and feel and flow with what's going on in my life.